And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
And finally, new rule, stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Bill Maher is back at it, dismantling woke talking points like he's on a mission, and this time, Whoopi Goldberg is in the hot seat. Let's be honest, she practically gift-wrapped this moment for him. Since 2022, Whoopi's had a streak of baffling takes, and Maher didn't just respond, he systematically took her apart with a takedown so sharp it could slice steel. So what exactly did Whoopi say that lit the fuse? And how did Maher flip the narrative with such precision? Hang on, because things are about to get savage.
If you're a liberal, you're supposed to be for free speech. That's free speech for the speech you hate. That's what free speech means. We're losing the thread of the concepts that are important to this country. Either you care about the real American shit or you don't. And if you do, it goes for every side.
You remember that last time Maher torched Sonny Hostin for twisting his words? Well, the sequel's here, and it stars Whoopi Goldberg. Only this time, it's not just about scoring a point. It feels personal. Sonny took a beating in that round and apparently tapped in Whoopi for backup. Enter Whoopi swinging like she's got something to prove and nothing to lose. Basically a human headline machine on full tilt. It's less The View and more The Revenge. And if this was a chessboard, Goldberg just flipped it over. But Maher, he's not blinking.
And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class? Classic Whoopi, flipping through the woke playbook like it's gospel. When your argument sinks faster than the Titanic, just build a straw man and go on the attack. Bill Maher laid out a simple fact. Black Americans want better jobs, a stronger economy, and accountable policing. Straightforward, right? But Whoopi's response? She rambled about a former prosecutor and voting like it's somehow relevant. Spoiler, it's not. It's like watching someone throw darts blindfolded, nothing sticking, and Maher wasn't about to let that nonsense slide.
Let's tear down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Maher didn't hold back. He called out Whoopi's ideas as pure nonsense, which frankly fits the pattern for The View. That show has turned into a political disaster you can't look away from. Painful yet addictive. Sure, it thrives on controversy, but Sonny Hostin and Whoopi managed to crank the chaos up to a new level with their outrageous takes. Remember when Charlemagne the God stopped by? You could almost see the look on his face, like he'd walked into an alternate reality. It's that kind of surreal mess.
The side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on.
Here's what actually happened. President Joe Biden, who loves to play the no one is above the law card, just pardoned his son Hunter after he was found guilty of corruption and related crimes. That's family loyalty for you. Naturally, it sparked a backlash. How do you preach justice if your own family gets a pass? Hunter's guilt was obvious, like a toddler caught with cookie crumbs on his face. But somehow accountability missed the family calendar. Charlemagne's point. If the woke crowd demands fairness, they should stick to it. But Whoopi, she had a different take.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed his mind.
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a
No,
sudden?
I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
And And there you have it, another eye-roll inducing gem from the queen of cringe herself, Whoopi Goldberg. This time, Whoopi actually claimed that President Biden didn't lie when he said no one was above the law. Really, Whoopi, because there's a mountain of evidence, video, audio, and probably even cave paintings proving he said exactly that.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
Watching Whoopi spin this lie is like watching someone insist the sky isn't blue while standing under a cloudless sky. She actually claimed Biden didn't lie when he said no one is above the law. Seriously? There's video, audio, and enough proof to fill a cave painting showing exactly the opposite. The nation's founding principle is clear: no kings here, and everyone is equal before the law. Yet Whoopi doubles down with some wild theory that Biden changed his mind because he got tired of watching others get over. Charlemagne was left speechless, stunned by the sheer absurdity.
At some point, you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just gonna follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
You're
go
miss-
out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen,
they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. He don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no! By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning
But
Hunter
you sound
Biden.
like you're
no,
mad.
no.
The woke mob's biggest flaw, they only call out wrongdoing when the offender isn't in their inner circle. When one of their own slips up, suddenly the outrage fades into whispered excuses or convenient collective amnesia. Of course, Whoopi and her crew sailed through unscathed. After all, it was Charlemagne on the set. But when Bill Maher caught wind of their nonsense, he stepped in like a pro and dropped one of the sharpest, most brutal takedowns we've seen in a long time. He wasn't just calling them out, he was obliterating the whole charade.
To speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit.
Bill Maher couldn't have been clearer or more direct. He called out the woke mob for their hypocritical performance, accusing them of losing all credibility when it comes to speaking truth to power. Instead of wielding truth as their weapon, they've become masters at speaking truth to bullshit, distorting facts and twisting narratives to protect their own. Their moral posturing rings hollow when the facts don't align with their agenda, and Maher nailed that with cutting precision. It's no longer about justice or fairness, it's about protecting their ideological bubble at any cost, even if that means abandoning truth entirely. That's the core failure Maher exposed, a failure of principle wrapped in sanctimony.
Bill Maher calling out big tech and the media for protecting Hunter Biden during the 2020 election and taking skeptics to task for ignoring the scandal.
Was it appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
Here's the harsh reality. The media bent over backwards to bury the Hunter Biden scandal, working overtime to shield President Biden and tilt the 2020 election. Major outlets dismissed the story as Russian propaganda, even as evidence piled up, while silencing voices that dared challenge the narrative. Whoopi Goldberg eagerly chimed in on The View, mocking the allegations and acting as a mouthpiece for the cover-up. Maher wasn't having any of it. He tore into her defense, exposing her attempts to dodge the truth and laying bare the hypocrisy that's been festering behind the scenes. This wasn't just media bias, it was an orchestrated effort to rewrite reality.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this: it's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life, and when they smell blood in the water,
The lust to finish off a vulnerable person?
Maher was dead on when he said America's run by mean girls. In politics, media, everywhere. When these predators catch a whiff of vulnerability, they pounce mercilessly, hungry to finish off their target. It's a ruthless game where empathy takes a back seat and bloodlust rules. The press, especially the ladies of The View, act like sharks circling prey, ready to tear apart anyone who dares challenge their ideology. This isn't debate, it's bullying disguised as activism, and Maher's refusal to stay silent makes him a constant thorn in their side, shining light on their hypocrisy and worn-out narratives.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. They live here, and they actually see women and people of color.
Maher makes a solid point. The woke crowd needs to quit clutching their pearls over Trump's win and face the facts. He didn't steal the election, cheat, or magically pull votes out of thin air. Millions of Americans voted for him because they agreed with what he stood for, no matter how much that makes progressives gag. Instead of blaming Russia, racism, or whatever Twitter scapegoat is trending, maybe it's time to accept democracy sometimes means the other side wins. This isn't a bug in the system, it's how it's supposed to work. The sooner the left stops playing victim and starts playing smart, the better their chances in 2028 or even 2032.
Coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him, they certainly are those, and then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense. That takes place on the left. So that's why they keep running that ad about sex changes in prison. You know, like could you,
and every football game.
Could you get every
every football game?
Could you get more third rail words into one sentence than sex change operation, taxpayer funded, illegal, prison.
It rings every single bell.
Bill Maher hits the nail on the head again. Not every Trump voter is hosting MAGA parties or worshiping at the altar of his golden statue. Many voted for him while holding their noses because they're tired of Democrats' self-righteous lectures and the woke mob's growing anti-common sense agenda. Be real. When you cheer for biological men taking over women's sports or rally with groups sympathetic to Hamas, you lose voters. People didn't vote for Trump because they loved his tweets or fake tan. They did it because the alternative felt like a never-ending lecture from a smug vegan at a BBQ. If the left wants to win, maybe they should stop pushing every fringe activist idea and start appealing to everyday Americans.
And finally, new rule, stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Bill Maher didn't just put the final nail in Whoopi Goldberg's coffin. He practically built the whole thing while laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. Whoopi, the self-proclaimed queen of woke culture, thought she could take a swing at Maher for daring to think independently. Huge mistake. Maher's comeback was classic Bill. Sharp, unapologetic, and brutally funny. He pointed out the irony of a View co-host attacking him for having an opinion she disliked, even though the show claims to be a platform for diverse views. That's rich. This group always shouting tolerance really means tolerate only us. Maher wasn't having any of it. He exposed the woke echo chamber Whoopi lives in, where tribal loyalty beats critical thinking and disagreement is treated like blasphemy. Watching Maher tear apart their weak arguments was like watching Picasso paint. Only his brush was sarcasm and logic was the masterpiece. So what did we just witness? A political talk show that claims to represent diverse voices, silencing the ones that don't toe the party line. A Hollywood icon doubling down on denial, deflection, and delusion. And a comedian armed with nothing but common sense and a mic, completely dismantling it all, one brutal punchline at a time. This wasn't just a takedown, it was a master class. A lesson in what happens happens when you trade truth for tribe, when you shout tolerance but only for your own opinions, when the loudest voices in the room are also the most out of touch. So what's the real story here? Is Whoopi Goldberg just another celebrity who got too comfortable in an echo chamber? Or was this clash with Bill Maher the wake-up call mainstream media needed? You tell us. Was Maher right to call out the hypocrisy? Or did Whoopi say the quiet part out loud? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.